This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
All right, so good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Somebody loved you. Somebody loves you. And somebody will love you in the future. And yeah, I love you. That's why we put this together. We put this book together so that you could get this information and love yourself better. So it is a love movement made out of love, wrapped in love, sent in love. We have a very, very short, sweet, small book. You can see mine is a little beat up. Very short, small, sweet book. Inexpensive book. I believe it is $7, give or take, depending on what country you're in, on Amazon. But thanks to technology, we have the ability to share this information free of charge, right? Free of charge. Scroll.inspirationperchrist.com. 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 Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It is the love movement. It is the love movement. We are moving love. That's what that's what the love movement. It's the love movement, and we're moving love. So we need this video, right? Because if we're the person sharing this link with somebody, right? We're sharing this link with somebody. Scroll.inspirationperchrist.com. If we're sharing this link with somebody, it's somebody that we care about, somebody we love, somebody we're trying to help. And we want to be as, like informed and helpful as possible, especially in a time where there's way too much information floating around on the internet. If we're the person receiving the link, it could be slightly overwhelming if we're trying to lose 5 pounds, we're trying to lose 10 pounds, or we're trying to, lighten up on some of this medication we've been taking, or we're trying to live an extra 5 or 10 years, or, and all of a sudden somebody gives me a free book, or somebody gives me an actual hard copy of the book from Amazon, and I've never heard of, the Christ complex. I don't know about, cardiac melanocytes or, white blood cells. And, it could be a little much, right? So we want to kind of give like a college level master class, beauty salon, barbershop conversation type of vibe. Like we want to have a thorough conversation about it and try to go through. Now, you don't have to watch this whole video. I just want you to know, if you're the person who received this link, You don't have to watch this whole video at one time, right? Because you probably was a little scared to even put your information in this link here, right? Your name, your phone, your email, and then the 2 permission boxes. Name, phone number, email, 2 permission boxes, right? Now, I will say, me being from where I'm from, that would be a little scammy Davis Jr.-ish, right? I would think that if I hit that link, I'm getting ready to get a sales pitch for, who knows what. But there's no sales pitch. There's nothing that comes. It's like there's no, the only thing you get is a free book. The only thing you get is a free book, right? Which you can easily purchase from Amazon for $7 and, be anonymous. Well, actually, I don't think so, because you have to sign up with Amazon too. Yeah, you have to put your name and most of us have already given Amazon that same information, and then we still got to pay Amazon. So how about that? Right? We gave them our name and email and all that, and then we still got, but so hopefully it's not too intrusive. Hopefully it's not too intrusive. And the person that is sharing the link with you is somebody you're comfortable with. So it's not like a strange sales page where, you feel weird or uncomfortable, because it's really about changing the world. We have the wealthiest nation, and at the same time, we are the sickest nation in the world. So we want to talk about some things that everybody should know that almost nobody does know. Things that everybody should know that almost nobody actually knows. And you are correct. This is not the first time I gave away a free book. I try to give. Listen, y'all give to me. So patreon.com/Dr. Inky, right? Patreon.com/Dr. Inky. We have Zelle. We have Cash App. Right? We have Super Chats. We have the website. Oh, it's also on the website. The link is also on the website. So like if you go to the website, you can press the button. Like it's on the main screen of the website. I think it says free book. You can just hit the button and then it'll take you to that screen where you put your name and information and stuff in there. And then you get the free book, right? We want people to have this information. We want to inspire people to inspiration. We want people to know what inspiration means. We want people to know what spirit means. We want people to know what's really in their heart, right? What's really in their heart, figuratively and literally. We want people to know that they got some protectors in there. And we really want to put an end. We want to put an end or at least a major dent in heart disease. We want to put an end to it or a major dent. into heart disease. Now, that being said, y'all know I have a brand new book out. And I know some of y'all are like, yeah, we've seen the kitchen chemistry book. No. I have another brand new book out. Man, I'm surprised you still even had those. Right? But we want to build up our communities by building up our community. Right? Think about that. We want to build up our communities by building up our community. And so we got the digital family. And so our community is made up, like we're people all over the world now. So people from Australia, Japan, Ireland. Last night I was kind of drowsy, and we found out that there was an earthquake or about to be a tsunami or something to that effect. And so definitely prayers goes out to anybody who needs it. Right? But when you hit the link, this is where it will take you. Right? When you hit the link, this is where it'll take you.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
So the book gives you a nice little introduction. Hi, my name is Slim Shady. The book gives you a nice little introduction to who we are, what we're about, right? Discusses our prayer system, how to do the prayer, when to do the prayer, why to do the prayer. Like, hold up. You just jumping into prayer? Was this Jehovah's Witness? This is something like Jehovah's Witness. It's something like Jehovah's Witness. But we're not Jehovah's Witness. Right? We're not Jehovah's Witness, but something like Jehovah's Witness. And then we jump into the diet. So now, should we go over everything? Maybe we should just go over everything. I wasn't going to actually go over everything, but maybe we should.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Okay. Let's see if we can make this larger. Hey, maybe you've questioned everything. Maybe you always have. The headlines, the sermons, the textbooks, the feeling in your chest that something was missing. You believe in God, but not in the way they handed him to you. Not the rules, the robes, the fear. You've always felt something else, a rhythm, a pulse. Maybe something inside you whispering, this isn't all there is. This isn't all I am. And now you found it. Not a religion that speaks at you, but one that breathes with you. One that answers your inhale. One that remembers the body and resurrects it. Inspiration, the religion that breathes back. Not dogma, not doctrine, but breath, rhythm, truth moving through a temple of flesh. This is not a conspiracy. This is a covenant. And every exhale is your proof. Welcome to the Church of Christ. Welcome to the current. Welcome home. We just want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting us with this part of your journey. We are the anti-diabetes, pro-melanin people. Thank you for being willing to look at your life, your health, your habits, and say, I'm ready for more. That takes courage, real courage, the kind most people never tap into. You did. We know this path isn't always easy. It brings up questions, doubts, emotions. You might feel overwhelmed. You might wonder if you're doing it right. That's normal. Every single one of us has started there. We started out kind of as a digital protest mob, fighting against the lack of education surrounding diabetes. We've grown into a culture of love and awareness, a human family based solely on our humanity. We just want you to know you're not alone in this. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not broken. You're not being judged. You're being welcomed. This is a community that sees people for who they are and who they're becoming. No masks, no pressure to be perfect, just honest support, real conversation, and steady growth. And if you ever feel like slipping back into old patterns, just remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up. Every day, one step at a time, one choice at a time. We're proud of you for showing up. And we're honored that you've allowed us to be a part of your story. Keep going, keep learning, keep listening to that part of you that wants better. It's the truest part of you there is. So now that you've stepped into this, let's talk about something at the center of it all. Christ. QRST. No big words, no mystical spin, just the truth. QRST is the name we give to the rhythm that keeps you alive, literally. Every time your heart beats, it goes through a process. Per, or the P, the space and the time. Q, the moment your heart prepares to act. R, the moment it contracts and sends blood through your body. S, the pause, the moment of reset. T, the recovery and return. The resurrection, getting ready for the next beat. That cycle happens about 100,000 times every day without you ever thinking about it. It's quiet, steady, faithful. And here's the thing. Doctors pronounce people dead when this stops. That's how real it is. So when we talk about Christ, the QRST complex, per Christ, we're not talking about a belief system. We're not asking you to imagine something or buy into a theory. We're just pointing to what's already happening inside you right now. Like right now, whether you're watching this video, reading the book, even if you're not watching this video or reading this book, it's already guiding your breath, already sending oxygen and nutrients where they need to go. It's already giving your brain what it needs to think clearly and your body what it needs to heal. This is your foundation. And when we say live per Christ, all we mean is let's live in a way that supports that rhythm. Let's not work against it with stress, poor sleep, bad food, or silence. Let's support it. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start listening. We're not asking you to worship anything. We're inviting you to pay attention to what's already saving your life every single second and live in a way that honors that. That's Christ. That's Koras. That's the QRST complex. That's the rhythm that brought you here. And we're with you as you learn how to walk with it. If you're reading this or listening to this, it means something in you said yes. Maybe quietly, maybe shakily, but still you said yes. And we just want to say thank you. Thank you for trusting yourself. Thank you for sharing your time, your body, and your hope with us. No one expects you to have it all figured out. We don't need you to be perfect. We just want you to start practicing. And to keep it simple, here's where we begin. The first 3 practices. Daily prayer. This isn't about religion. It's about rhythm. The Inkhotep prayer is spoken 5 times a day. But not just with your mouth, it's spoken with movement. Heel raises, toe raises, squats, push-ups, jumping jacks. 1 minute each, 5 minutes total. You do this while breathing deeply and reading the words. It's like tuning your body, not for show, for yourself, for your energy, your mood, your blood, your breath. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. You do it at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., or as close as your life allows. This is your time, a reset, 5 times a day. The diet. No fads, no shame, just real food. We center around 2 things, pigment and fiber. Because food is not just fuel, it's signal. And right now, your body might be trying to run on confusion. This isn't about going cold turkey. It's about giving your body what it remembers, what it's built for. Color, texture, roots, real things. You'll feel the shift and it won't take long. Hydration. So that's prayer, diet, and hydration. Rule of thumb. 1 cup of clean water every hour you're awake. No flavor packets, no artificial stuff, just water your body can actually use. Your blood needs it. Your memory needs it. Your entire healing system runs on it. Start with 1 glass right now and go from there. Oh yeah, that includes me too. You don't have to announce this to the world, but know this, you're not alone. Every person reading this, watching this, or listening to this made the same quiet decision to care, to begin, to honor the gift of being alive. And from here on out, that decision becomes your practice. We're grateful you're here. We're walking with you. You may not know it, but this small book has powerful secrets in it. All of us who started with just 1 prayer, 1 meal, 1 glass of water, welcome to the journey. Welcome to yourself. Okay? That is the intro to the book. And then we move into prayer. To aspire is to reach beyond the self you've already met, to stretch toward the version of you that only effort can reveal. Aspiration is not fantasy, it's decision. It's breath with direction. It's the refusal to expire unchanged. It's the private war between who you've been and who you refuse to expire without becoming. To respire. To respire is to return to the source. Not just to breathe, but to receive. To let inspiration into you. Let the unseen animate the seen. You inhale information. You respire memory. Every breath writes the next verse of your life. To respire is to be in contract with life. To say, I'm still here. I still receive. I still give. And I am still becoming. Respiration is resurrection. Each inhale is a vote for tomorrow. To conspire is to breathe together, but also to harmonize, like instruments tuning to the same note, hearts keeping the same beat. God is music. It's not a whisper behind closed doors. It's a symphony in motion. A group tuned to the same frequency, exhaling destiny in perfect rhythm. To conspire is to trust the air between us, the information we exchange. To sync our lungs, our steps, our sound. To move like music, no one out of place, no one off key. This is not a plot. This is a chorus. This is what happens when people breathe in purpose together. They exhale power together. That's not just a team. We are not just a team. That's a vibration. That's a vibe. We are a vibration. Aligned, inspired, unstoppable. Below is our prayer, our main prayer. We visualize the circulatory system, the system of the heart, as we assist the heart in circulating blood. Yes, we assist the heart. Your muscles are blood pumps. If used properly, they help move and clean the blood. We focus on the muscles of the feet for 2 minutes, the legs for 1 minute, the lungs and heart itself for a minute, and the bones for a minute. Heel and toe raises, squats, push-ups, jumping jacks. We have 2 videos on YouTube to help guide you. They are also good to help you memorize the prayer. All right. Here is our prayer. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set our cells into perpetual motion. We give thanks for the magnetism of the Most Holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes, flooding the river of life. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries and turned them into stone. We give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium and turned them into stone. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter, turning our heart to stone. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vein of cava into the right atrium. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown, joining the vortex in the right atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway to the vineyard. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate to the vineyard closes. We give thanks to the Most High God that provides the light and our breath, and the light in our breath. We give thanks for the fine olfactory system that makes our grapes ripe with light. We give thanks for the Jed pillar that provides us with a stable fleet of ferry boats to dock in our vineyard. We give thanks for smooth sailing through the pulmonary vein into the storm of the left atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening the pathway into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter closes. We give thanks for the magnetism of the Most Holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. Amen. Right? And while we are going through that prayer, while we are giving thanks for our circulatory system, its components, its function, its action, its creation, inception, right? While we're giving thanks, we are exercising. We are actually energizing. We're sending energy, love, information, help, structure, supplies, resources to all those parts of our body to reinforce their actions, right? To reinforce their actions and reinforce our force, our life force. It is a refractory, fractal system. It is a fractal system. So that's why it's very simple, right? 4 minutes and change maybe of exercise, right? This is a short explanation of the prayer right? A short explanation of the prayer so that we get a deeper idea of what it is that we're reading as we're reading it. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set our cells into perpetual motion. About 2 to 3 million new cells every second are being created. Right? So we want to give thanks for that miraculous process. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light, 60,000 miles of blood traveled every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. That is referring to the energy that moves the blood in both directions, away and to, away from and back to the heart. 60,000 miles. Scientists all over the world are still debating how that is even possible. Most people walking around don't even know that 60,000 miles of anything even exist inside their body, right? They might be 5'3", 5'8", 5'9", 6 foot, 7 feet tall, and they just don't have a conceptual reference point for how 60,000 miles of anything could fit inside their body, let alone and still have room for other things, right? But you have 60,000 miles of blood vessels. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes. We take a lot of things for granted. Clean water, though. Clean water may be top 3, top 5, top 3, maybe even number 1. The number 1 thing we take for granted. The ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes. Flooding the river of life. Every blast of fresh water floods all of the waterways in your body. Every blast of fresh water floods all the waterways. Helps to clean your circulatory system. Helps to clean your connective tissue. Helps to clean your lymphatic system. Very important. Very important in terms of the war against sugar and fat accumulation. Electrogenic inhibition. Right? Electrogenic inhibition. We're going to have a lot more conversation about that in the coming weeks and months. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries, turning their flexible membranes into stone. A1C. Right now, there's somebody checking their A1C number. And the A1C number they're getting is creepy. It's scary. Right now, the A1C number that somebody is getting is scary. It's scaring them. They have a 7 point something A1C. They have an 8 A1C. They have a 9 A1C number. That means that sugar is coating their blood. And the more sugar coats your blood, the less your blood can carry oxygen and nutrients around to the body. The less blood you can even fill up your circulatory system with, the more muscles you actually need to use to move the blood through the body. But as the sugar fills your circulatory system. As it coats the blood, the muscles are less able to move the blood around your body. And because that happens, you slowly, subtly lose the desire to exercise. You lose the desire to walk. You get tired much, much, much quicker. And you've been prodded, you've been taught, you've been brainwashed by pop culture. You've been prodded, taught, and brainwashed by pop culture to believe that that's just because you're getting older. And it's not. It's because the quality of your blood is going down. It's because your bloodstream, your blood vessels are being filled with fat. Your bones are being filled with fat. Your skin, your organs, your tissues, your glands, your nerves, your neurons, your brain, your heart, your lungs is being filled with fat. So we give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium. You see, calcium follows fat. Calcium follows fat. And when calcium coats those blood vessels and makes them hard, it slowly becomes almost impossible without the help of drugs or surgical intervention for us to move our blood through our circulatory system. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter. When we speak about almond, we're talking about the amygdala. The amygdala in your brain that is tuned to your emotions. The amygdala in your brain that is so often referred to in the Bible. The almond, the amygdala, the almond, the amygdala, the almond, amygdala, almond, amygdala. That will soon, but not soon enough, be recognized as one of the main triggers, if not the lone gunman that triggers heart attack. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death. That is through the venous system. That is the low oxygen, high carbon dioxide portion of your blood's trip. The beginning of the trip, oxygen filled. Oxygen filled, diamagnetic blood being repelled by the heart. The magnetic field of the heart repelling the diamagnetic oxygen carrying blood as hard and fast away from itself as it can. As that oxygen is shared throughout the cells and the tissues, the blood loses its diamagnetism, becoming paramagnetic. As it completely loses its oxygen, it completely becomes paramagnetic, and as such is attracted to the magnetic field of the heart. The strongest magnetic field in the body, which is why we give praise and thanks. Because life is a system of magnetism. Life is a system of magnetism moving and sharing information. So we have the magnetism of our heart, the magnetism of our planet, the magnetism of the sun. So we give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vena cava into the right atrium, where the bone marrow washing meets the blood once more. Cerebral lymphatics flowing into the jugular, clearing debris every cycle of 60. Bone marrow, brain marrow. These are the blood producers. The cerebral lymphatics, the glymphatic system, joins, comes from the circulatory system and rejoins the circulatory system. So as we say our prayers 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day, we want to envision this system. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown. The heart has a crown. Join the vortex in the right atrium. The vortex that's created to send blood through the heart into the lungs to get reoxygenated and start back on its mission. The perfect black solar repeater. The family of cardiac melanocytes that regulate the rhythm, the electromagnetic wave in your heart, from the SA to the AV node to the electric crown, the crown of thorns, the Purkinje fibers. We want to give thanks for the cardiac melanocytes that keep you alive, that clean the interior of the heart, that perform calculus in time frames that we can't even imagine. These cardiac melanocytes are in there performing calculus, measuring like little masons, measuring what's going on in your life, what's going on in every other cell of your body, and tuning the frequency, the rhythm of the heart to match it. Regulating, coordinating the immune response of the immune system to keep the heart functioning, to get rid of the reactive oxygen species, the reactive carbon species, the reactive nitrogen species, the buildup of possible peroxides and lactic acid and anything that would create an abnormal rhythm. So we definitely have to give praise and thanks for the perfect black solar repeater family in there taking care of that. We give thanks for the mechanical wave. It's not just an electromagnetic wave, it's a mechanical wave. That's the beat. That's the sound. That's the feeling of the heart. We want to give thanks for the vineyard. The vineyard is the system of alveoli inside the lungs, responsible for the gas exchange, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. We give thanks for the light that our oxygen carries into and out of our bodies. We give thanks for the fine olfactory system. Now, yes, we just said the same thing twice. Find, FND, find, is the Kemetic term for olfactory system. So we said olfactory system, or fine. But there's a point in time where our ancestors greatly venerated the olfactory system because so much of our life or our life force depends on it. We give thanks for the Jed pillar, our spine, supporting the fleet of ferry boats. The spine not only supplies the information, conducts, carries, shares, stores, transmits information, it also has active bone marrow. Active bone marrow helping to produce the red blood cells that we need. So we want to give thanks for all of these different aspects within our prayer. And as we're doing the prayer, as we're remembering, as we're putting our mind literally into these spaces in our body, right? We're putting our mind into these spaces. We're literally trying to envision all of these spaces. We're doing basic, simple exercises to help move and circulate energy through these spaces. Very important that we support these systems, especially since we've designed a world of luxury that does not. So quickly, I know there's nothing quick about it, but quickly, I just want you to see what this looks like. If this is your first video, if you've never seen, if you've never heard.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ. Inky prayer number 2. We give thanks and praise to the Most High God for the divine spark that set our cells into perpetual motion. We give thanks for the magnetism of the Most Holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and caves. We give thanks for the ability to drink clean water every 60 minutes, flooding the river of life. We give thanks that sugar has not covered our ferries and turned them into stone. We give thanks that darkness has not covered the riverbanks with calcium and turned them into stone. We give thanks that anger and fear have not turned our almonds bitter, turning our heart to stone. We give thanks for smooth sailing upstream through the valley of death, through the superior vena cava into the right atrium. We give thanks for smooth sailing around the heart through the corona crown, joining the vortex in the right atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway to the vineyard. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate to the vineyard closes. We give thanks to the Most High God that provides the light and our breath, and the light in our breath. We give thanks for for the fine olfactory system that makes our grapes ripe with light. We give thanks for the Jed Pillar that provides us with a stable fleet of ferry boats to dock in our vineyard. We give thanks for smooth sailing through the pulmonary vein into the storm of the left atrium. We give thanks for the perfect black solar repeater that induces the primary electromagnetic wave, opening the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the mouth of the Kodesh HaKodeshim closes. We give thanks to the ray wave, reflecting on the semi-lunar valves, opening a pathway into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter. We give thanks for the mechanical wave produced when the lunar gate into the holy royal arch of the Wa scepter closes. We give thanks for the magnetism of the most holy, the magnetism that repels and attracts the ferry boats of light 60,000 miles every 60 seconds throughout our vessels and our caves.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
So when you go to scroll dot inspirationperchrist.com and you fill in your information or you share this link, all of this information is going to be in the book. And hopefully we inspire some folks to get out there in real time, right? Get out there in real time and get some running. Right? Get some exercise, right? Get some jumping rope. Right? Get some jumping rope going on. Get some push-ups. Okay. Now, we have a system that you will learn by proximity called divine mathematics. Just some coincidences, like 144 million new red blood cells every 60 seconds. 144 million new red blood cells every 60 seconds, every minute. Very interesting. Very interesting. Seeing as there are 1,440 minutes in a day. I mean, just some numerical coincidences. Numerical coincidences, right? We like to address this prayer as tithing, as giving back. We like to address this prayer, these exercises, as giving back, not just to yourself, not just to your creator, like in a spiritual sense, but all of your creators, every one of your ancestors that contributed genetic material to who you are today, right? Not material, not dollars, not money, Bringing us around to the diet. The Bible teaches us that we should eat based on photosynthesis, the green plants with seed. It's almost the only time that the term green is really used. There is also a covenant about the rainbow. For us, we interpret this as a doubling down from photosynthesis, light for meat, to electromagnetic radiation in water as the sign of the covenant. We get the message loud and clear. Focus on water and light. The diet of inspirationalists, pigment and fiber. Pigments facilitate light metabolism, and fiber facilitates water metabolism. You cannot conduct light on processed darkness. The temple runs on light. Genesis 9:13. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. But what is a rainbow? A rainbow is the visible division of light into 7 wavelengths: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. These are not symbolic. They are literal photonic band passes created through diffraction, refraction, and structured water droplets. The bow is a light curve, a full waveform. Water, the holy medium. Sunlight, the source. The observer, the voltage receiver. The 7 colors, the grid that produces the rainbow. Melanin, your prism through which you interpret light. Water, light, and angle. The revelation of the covenant. The covenant is not a metaphor. It's a spectral declaration written in your mitochondria. Music to your retina, reflected in your skin, absorbed by your gut, and transmitted by your heart. Red. Red is 620 to 750 nanometers. It has the deepest penetration of the 7. It activates cytochrome C oxidase or complex 4. Increases blood flow, ATP production, and vasodilation. Red, similar to the blood, like the root of mankind in the word Adam. Red conductance penetrates deepest, increases cytochrome oxidase, vasodilation, red blood cell deformability, and infrared photon recycling. Orange, 590 to 620 nanometers, stimulates myosin activity, muscle, mitochondria. Myosin is in the muscle. Myo anything refers to muscle in anatomy. So orange stimulates myosin and muscle activity at an electrical level, subatomic, electron, proton movement, ATP recycling, penetrates fascia, muscle junctions, increases contraction recovery, enhances brain-derived nootropic factor. Brain-derived nootropic factor helps your brain to produce new neurons, just in case. Regulates mood, focus, conscious awareness, cognitive activity. Yellow, 570 to 590 nanometers. Activates gut motility, modulates the enteric nervous system, stimulates bile and enzyme production, photoreactive chromophores, the lymphatic system, the renal and intestinal system, the microbiome, electrolyte sensing. Yellow is the aspect of Roy G. Biv that's tied to your digestive system. Not in a fantastic way, not in a miraculous, not explainable way, but in a very factual. We have a pigment system. We have a pigment system that allows us to interpret visible light, which means that our body converts visible light into information. And each aspect of that visible information is a part and parcel of how our body works. That's the covenant. The covenant is that each aspect of the rainbow, each aspect of the light that we can interpret, fuse our activity. The green, the most prominent, right? The green, the most prominent, 495 to 570 nanometers, absorbed by chlorophyll-like porphyrins, modulates lymphocyte activity, influences fascia-lymph interface, reduces inflammation, quite possibly the most important part of our light-based photonic system. Blue, 450 to 495 nanometers, acts on the neurons, their mitochondria, regulates melatonin and serotonin, entrains circadian genes, clears oxidative waste via blue light responsive enzymes. We're hearing a lot about blue light on the internet. It's not that blue light in and of itself is dangerous or toxic. It's too much blue light. It's blue light out of sync with the other forms of light. It's blue light out of schedule, ahead of schedule, interrupting the rest of our light schedule. Indigo, 425 to 450 nanometers, stimulating the pineal, the hypothalamus, the thyroid photoreceptors, modulating your hormone cycles, the entire retinohypothalamic tract, the lungs, the vagus nerve. Further still, into the violet, the highest frequency we can interpret. One of the reasons why our ancestors held this color as royal, regal. Stimulates the retina, the eyes, the opsins in the skin. Brain waves. Cortical phototransduction. So just understand that we only can interpret less than 1% of the light in our solar system through our pigment, through our opsins, through our globins. That may be the biggest blessing we have as a species. Water. Water is the holy medium, the womb, the mirror, the current carrier, the memory maker. That almost sound like an opening bar, right? The holy medium, the womb, the mirror, the current maker, the electricity, magnetism, and light shaker. One cup every hour you're awake is a gallon. Electrolyte balanced. No sweeteners, no sugars, right? So that means that you can have those things, right? But not to interrupt your 1 cup of clean water. So that means if you add powders, if you're drinking juices, smoothies, sodas, wine, whatever it is that you're doing, do that on top of your 1 clean, plain glass of water per hour. Just have that also. You want to have sparkling mineral water, Kool-Aid, orange juice, apple juice, pomegranate, acai berry, Pepsi, diet Pepsi, whatever it is that you're, beer, champagne, whatever it is that you're doing. Just also have at least 1 clean glass of water per hour. Right? That's for your pH, the bond between you and the universe, right? 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The hydration of your connective tissue, the circulation of your lymphatic system that cleans your brain. Right? Okay. Heart health, energy, cognition, digestion, detox, immune support, hair growth, skin maintenance, weight, metabolism, sleep, circadian rhythm. Drinking a gallon a day is not about volume, it's about rhythm. 1 cup per waking hour. That equals no stress or less stress on the kidneys. Keeps the system flowing. Supports every major system from the brain to the bowels. Now we get into a little bit more sciencey space, right? And if you're in the book, we have just completed the first 27 pages. If you actually have a hardcover copy of the book, that is the first 27 pages. And we did that in about an hour, less than an hour, right? Less than an hour. Yeah, because we didn't add prayer and all kinds of. So yeah, we did that in less than an hour. Per Christ, per QRST, the PQRST wave, what's actually happening in the body. The P wave, atrial depolarization. What it means. The electrical signal starts in the SA node. It's also known as the heart's natural pacemaker. The signal causes the atria to contract, to squeeze, The contraction pushes blood down into the ventricles. So when we're saying the prayer, this is the creator of the vortex that moves blood from chamber to chamber to chamber to chamber, to the lungs, back from the lungs, in from the body, out to the body. Depolarization here means the heart muscle cells are activated by an electrical current, making them contract. That electrical current is what we're talking about when we say Christ or QRST. We're speaking of that electric wave, so that you understand exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about the electric wave. The electric wave that quantumly entangles you to the source of all life in the universe that exists now, that has ever existed before, and that will ever exist. It's very small but mighty electric wave. So after the P wave defines the space and the time, there's what we call or identify as the PR interval. This is a momentary pit stop, a rest stop at the AV node. After the atria contract, the signal moves to the AV node. Now, most people have never heard of nodes before. N-O-D-E, node. But musicians, is a heartbeat. God is music. Musicians know of nodes. If you read or write music, you know what a node is. There's a brief pause, a rest between notes, allowing the ventricles time to fill with blood before they contract again. This delay ensures the atria and ventricles don't contract at the same time. You have 2 atria and 2 ventricles in your heart. That's what the 4 rooms, the 4 spaces in your heart are called. 2 of them are atria, 2 of them are ventricles. The heartbeat is the sound of the doors, the gates opening and closing, allowing blood to move from one chamber to the next. The QRS complex, ventricle depolarization. The electrical signal now shoots down the crown of thorns, the bundle of His and Purkinje fibers, rapidly activating the ventricles. The ventricles contract powerfully to push the blood. The right ventricle to the lungs, the left ventricle to the rest of the body. This is the main force of each heartbeat. The ST segment, early ventricular repolarization. This is the brief moment after contraction where the ventricles are still activated but no longer actively contracting. This part is important for monitoring heart damage, especially after a heart attack. The T wave, ventricular repolarization. This is the resurrection part. The resurrection recovery part. The ventricles reset their electrical charge to prepare for the next beat. This is like a recharging phase where the muscle cells return to their resting state. What is depolarization? Step by step. how an electrical current triggers heart muscle contraction. What is resting membrane potential? Resting membrane potential of key cardiac cell types. The resting membrane potential of key cardiac cell types is the electric state of the most important real estate in your electric body. When you hear about the body being electric, well, there has to be a source for that electricity to move through the body. And the source for that electricity to move through your body is not necessarily the chicken you had, the sausages, the eggs, right? It's not the massaged kale, quinoa, chickpea, vegan, alkaline, raw, green smoothie. The electrical source is in your heart. The electrical source is in each one of the cells that make up the heart. The electrical source is in the movement of ions, little tiny microscopic electric fields in and out of each one of the cells. And each cell type has a resting potential, which is basically how much electrical activity it has at rest. Like what's going on inside its body, because each cell has its own body. It has its own organs called organelles. It has its own filaments. It has, which is basically its nervous system. It has its own brain. It has its own heart, right? Or hearts, if you will. So each cell has its own body on the inside of it that it must maintain to be healthy in order to provide your organs with what they need from the cells. And in your heart, you have ventricular myocytes. Healthy ventricular myocytes have a resting potential of negative 90 millivolts. Healthy atrial myocytes between negative 80 and negative 85 millivolts. Purkinje fibers between negative 90 and negative 95 millivolts. The SA node cells that's producing the real producers, they are between negative 60 and negative 70 millivolts. The resting membrane potential of cardiac melanocytes is between negative 50 millivolts and negative 70 millivolts, which is a very, very important part of this story. They are not purely excitable cells like ventricular myocytes, but they do express ion channels associated with excitability. Their resting membrane potential is closer to neurons and secretory melanocytes, which typically range from negative 40 to negative 70 millivolts, depending on ion channel expression and activation state. Ion channel. Ion channels are the little tiny holes, the little tiny portals, the little tiny tunnels in cells so that ions can go in and out of cells.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Each heart cell, cardiomyocytes and cardiomyocytes, melanocytes, cardiac melanocytes, sits in a charge resting state. The inside of the cell has more negative charge. The outside of the cell has more positive charge. This creates a resting membrane potential, usually around negative 90 millivolts on average. The signal arrives. The SA node fires an impulse. This is a real electrical wave made up of sodium and calcium ions moving across the membrane and into those little tunnels, into those pores of the cell. As these ions are moving into the cell very rapidly, the resting membrane potential rises very quickly, like lightning coming down from the sky or going up to the sky, right? It's like a bolt of lightning. This wave spreads across neighboring cells like dominoes. That rhythm has to be maintained. When that rhythm is not maintained, you have the potential for cardiac arrest. Depolarization begins. When the electrical signal hits a heart muscle cell, the sodium channels open. This changes the polarity. Inside the cell becomes more positive than the outside. So as the sodium and the calcium is flooding into the cell is going down. It's negative 70, negative 50, negative 60, negative 90 millivolts is going down, or rather up to 0 and beyond, to create this electric charge, this electric flash, this electric discharge of energy. The sudden shift in change is called depolarization, an electrical spike that initiates muscle contraction. After sodium opens the gate, calcium floods into. Calcium is the real trigger that tells the muscle filaments to slide and contract the heart cell. No calcium, no contraction. Once enough cells are depolarized, the heart chambers contract. This is the P wave and QRS wave, or complex together. Repolarization, resetting the charge. Potassium is the element of resurrection. Your bananas, your coconut waters, your green leafy vegetables. Potassium channels open up. Potassium flows out. As potassium flows out, the negative charge, the resting membrane potential begins to be restored. When the cell returns to its resting polarity, it's ready to go again. Recap. Depolarization is the electrical ignition system of the heart. Sodium rushes in, charge flips. Calcium triggers contraction. Electricity first, muscle second. No current, no contraction. No contraction, no circulation. This happens with every single heartbeat. Over 1,000. Over 100,000 times per day. Cardiac melanocytes, particularly those found in the atrium and pulmonary veins, connect to the pacemaker cells and influence their function. They are involved in more direct connections that organize heartbeats. They are the conductors of your orchestra. Cardiac melanocytes are the conductors of your orchestra. They are the beat makers. When inflammatory conditions get out of control, they can contribute to the generation of atrial arrhythmias. meaning the heart dancing off beat, which in turn affects the SA node's rhythmic activity, right? Like you at a party and somebody just dancing wild and just bump into the DJ booth and just mess up the music for everybody. Here are the key ways cardiac melanocytes connect with and influence pacemaker cells. Gap junctions. Gap junctions connect cells. Studies have demonstrated the existence of functional gap junctions between cardiac melanocyte-like cells and neighboring cardiomyocytes. These gap junctions allow for electrical communication between cells, meaning that electrical signals can be passed from one cell to another. This electrical coupling of cells influences the excitability of both cell types. So this is how melanocytes in your heart control the electric rhythm of the heart. Modulation of electrical properties. In the absence of melanin synthesis, cardiac melanocytes have been shown to exhibit prolonged repolarization after depolarizations. These abnormal electrical activities act as heartbeat arrangement organizers, similar to a music producer. This ability to arrange your heart's electrical activity can keep you healthy or trigger arrhythmias, even cardiac arrest. So yes, the activity of these melanocytes in your heart literally determines your life. Make or break you is an understatement. They are judge and the jury. Oxidative stress and reactive oxygen signaling. Cardiac melanocytes through DCT play a role in regulating the balance of reactive oxygens. These are free radicals, if you don't know. ROS, or reactive oxygen species, any type of reactive species, those are free radicals. Those are things that steal electricity. They're electricity thieves. So that's a simple way for you to understand what a reactive species or free radical is doing. It is stealing electricity. Okay. Cardiac melanocytes regulate reactive species in the atrium. When they are balanced, there's no disruption. When the balance is disrupted, it can lead to oxidative stress, which affects the electrical properties of the heart, including the ion channels, and can contribute to arrhythmias or cause a cardiac arrest. Just for the record, heart attack is when the blood flow to and from the heart is interrupted. Cardiac arrest is when the electrical activity of the heart is interrupted. Okay. Autonomic innervation, right? This is talking about the nerves, the nervous system connecting to the heart. Cardiac melanocytes in the atrium have been shown to express receptors for the autonomic nerves. This suggests that their activity and their influence is regulated through the nervous system. It's important to note the difference between cardiac arrest and heart attacks. Again, heart attacks occur when blood flow to a part of the heart muscle is blocked, often due to fat or plaque buildup in the arteries. Cardiac arrest is an electrical problem where the heart's rhythm is disrupted, causing it to stop beating. A heart attack can sometimes trigger a cardiac arrest, as the damage to the heart muscle can affect its electrical activity. In essence, cardiac melanocytes can influence pacemaker cells and the SA node primarily by participating in the control of the heartbeat's rhythm. They do this through electrical coupling via gap junctions. This allows them to exchange electrical signals with cardiomyocytes, modulating their own electrical properties, controlling redox, limiting abnormal electrical activity that triggers arrhythmias, right? Or as we would say in the neighborhood, whack beats, right? Influencing cellular redox. This can contribute to oxidative stress, again, altering electrical properties of the heart. Responding to autonomic nervous system signals. This links the autonomic system or autonomic dysregulation, dis-ease, to poor rhythm, poor beats, whack beats, bad timing, right? Like that guy that keeps stepping on your feet on the dance floor, or the pretty girl with bad breath that can't dance. This complex interplay between cardiac melanocytes and pacemaker cells is an active area of research to better understand the mechanisms underlying arrhythmias, particularly atrial arrhythmias, and develop potential therapeutic interventions. We have some therapeutic interventions, right? Cardiac melanocytes originate from neural quest cells, just like melanocytes in the brain and the skin. This common origin means they retain traits of electrical sensitivity, pigment production, and neuron-like behavior, making them true cross-domain cells linking the heart, the brain, and the field. This is why they express dopamine receptors, adrenaline receptors, muscarinic receptors, melanin synthesis enzymes, gap junction proteins. They're not just observers, they're conductors, literally with skin in the game. Melanin isn't passive here. It functions as a semiconductive matrix, absorbing and redischarging electrons and buffering against ionic surges. In this way, it soothes electrical gradients, absorbs reactive oxygen species, preserves action potential fidelity. Without this pigment buffer, without melanocytes, voltage spikes, misfires. It's like your city's electrical company shutting down. Only these types of blackouts in your heart kill. Inflammation, reactive oxygen species overload. Melanocytes regulate, eliminate, destroy, clean up. This is what it means to manage redox dysfunction. This is what it means to clean up after depolarizations, regulate aberrant signals, stabilize the SA node. New studies suggest that cardiac melanocytes function as auxiliary pacemakers under stress. So this means beyond just influencing, beyond cleaning up, beyond regulating the signal, if something happens to the SA node, the melanocytes can actually take over producing the electrical signal that keeps you alive. This is similar to Purkinje fibers initiating escape beats, but with additional redox pigment.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Again, this is similar to Purkinje fibers initiating escape beats, but with additional redox and pigment feedback. So not only can they take over like a fail-safe conductor or a fail-safe system or a backup generator, at the same time they can regulate the rhythm. The cardiac melanocytes populate various areas of the heart. In those different areas, they have different functions. Outside of the atrial zone, they cluster near pulmonary veins.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Near the pulmonary veins, which are hot zones for fibrillation, they intercept rogue signals. They regulate vein to atria voltage transfer. They absorb shock. All that being said, all that work, they can become overwhelmed as well. And when they become overwhelmed, as the secondary and tertiary line of defense against heart failure, when they become overwhelmed, they can also become a source of arrhythmia, dysfunction, bad music, whack beats. The PQRST complex mapped recapped P wave, right? P wave. We introduced the activity of AMPK. Q wave. We talk about mitochondria. R wave. NAD. S wave. We talk about the SIRTUINs. T wave. Resurrection and resetting of the charge. Brain rhythms, ATP cycles, breath, lymphatic system, your emotions, light, sugar, insulin, water. All of these things contribute to the electric signal of the heart. Now, why is the brother on the cover of the book and the people standing around and behind him all wearing martial arts gis or martial arts outfits or uniforms? That has to do with melanocytes and white blood cells and their function in, around, and through the heart. In, around, and through the heart. T cell creation in jujitsu language Right? We tried to create an analogy that would simplify our white blood cell journey from the bone marrow to actively protecting our heart.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
So we kind of setting the stage. Think about the door opening. Think about the blinds opening, the sun coming through. First thing in the morning. The bone marrow. The home of these fresh young cells. White belts are born. Hematopoiesis. This is where it all begins. Inside your bones, especially the long bones, like the femur, the pelvis, the ribs, or the spine, bone marrow produces lymphoid progenitor cells. These are your raw recruits. No skills yet, just potential. These new students are called T-cell precursors. They don't have any techniques. They don't have a uniform yet. They don't have specialties yet. Just potential, just raw talent. They can become B cells, natural killer cells, or T cells. The journey begins for these cells on the road to the thymus. Once they leave the bone and travel through the bloodstream to the hidden training temple, the school, the dojo of all dojos, the thymus, not the thyroid, the thymus. This is the ancient T-cell dojo, a sacred school guarded by epithelial masters. Few who enter survive. Most of the cells that enter the thymus to be trained actually do not make it out of the thymus. Only the most disciplined make it. Imagine a 2-year training camp in 7 seconds. A brutal boot camp. 97 out of 100 students fail. As they enter, they're given white belts. Double negatives. What does the double negative mean? If they don't express CD4 or CD8, this will be their failure. CD4 and CD8 expression determine what these cells will do, how these cells will function. So when they enter the when they enter the thymus, they don't express CD4 or CD8 just yet. They have no stance, no specialty, no loyalty. Just newbies. Phase 1. Initiation kata. In phase 1, T-cell hopefuls choose the T path. If they fail to rearrange their T-cell receptor, they're out. Immediately, they've already failed. Notch 1 signaling says you are not a B cell. You are not a bone marrow cell. B cell is short for bone marrow cell. RAG enzymes rearrange the TCR DNA, very similar to the initial forms and katas you learn in martial arts. Yes, even biochemistry is about geometry. If they can't make a valid receptor, the cell is also dead. Which cells pass the initial stages of training? CD4 and CD8. Double positive. They've earned their belts. They've earned their stripes. Now they go through phase 2. Now they must prove they can sense the world just enough. Not too much, not too little. Too much, they can attack the body. This is where you get illnesses like lupus and AIDS, and illnesses where the body's immune system attacks itself. So the thymus is very important in preventing these types of illnesses. So again, these trainees, they have to prove that they can sense the world around them, but not too much that they attack the body, and not too little that they allow foreign entities into the body to attack. It has to be just right. They have to know, they have to be able to tell what is from the body, what is not from the body. Home team from foreigners. Thymic epithelial cells present self-MHC molecules. If the student's TRC receptors, the receptors, T cell receptors, can slightly bind to MHC, they survive. If they can't sense the dojo's rhythm at all, cells are destroyed. So this is a very real thing. When the cells are going through the thymus, if for any reason they fail any part of the training, the cells are destroyed. Any one of these cells could cause a disease if they make it through the thymus and then malfunction. Winners, those who pass, get a stripe on their belt. CD4 or CD8. They now specialize. They either become helper T cells, which are the military strategists, or they become cytotoxic T cells. These are the hand-to-hand combat specialists. The others swept from the mats. Phase 3, negative selection. This is the final test. If any student shows too much affinity for the self, for the body, if they start trying to attack the sensei or the thymus, they are eliminated. This prevents disease. This prevents internal civil war. This prevents autoimmune dysfunction. This is the deepest layer of T cell wisdom. Do not harm the temple. Defend it. Only 2 to 3% of all of the bone marrow cells that go into the thymus actually leave the thymus alive. as active immune cells. Graduation. Fresh black belts are leaving the thymus, well trained but still untested in real combat. So they have belts, but they're still naive. They're still wet behind the ears. They enter the lymph nodes. They enter the blood. They enter the spleen, waiting for their first assignment, waiting for bacteria or virus or any sort of infection to pop off so they could spring into action. Just like martial arts has grapplers, right, which are wrestlers, strikers, punchers, weapons experts, T cells also have specialization. You have cytotoxic T cells. These cells kill infections. They kill infected cells. They use perforin and granzymes. They target viruses, tumors, cancer cells, right? Other cells that have went rogue. Then you have helper T cells. They don't kill, they command. They send out the strategy for the killers to come in. They activate B cells, macrophages, and other types of white blood cells. You have Th1, Th2, Th17, and Treg cells. These are all different types of helper T cells. T regulatory cells are the peacemakers. They prevent friendly fire, stop autoimmune responses, right? They uphold the law. Memory T cells. These are the OGs, the teachers. They carry the wisdom. So if you get an infection in 2021, they'll remember that infection. So in 2041, if you have the same infection, they know exactly what to do. T cell hierarchy. You have the B cells or bone marrow cells. Then you have the thymus DNA, the double negative phase, the double positive phase, your selection phases, your CD4 or CD8, your post-graduation. Now, what's important is that your thymus sits right in front of your heart. Your thymus sits right in front of your heart. This is very important because the organization of your body tells you a lot about who, what, where, when, and why. So the fact that your body's defense cells are educated, trained, and released into circulation right in front of the heart means that the number one place of protection is the heart. So they're deployed right there at the heart. As you age, the thymus shrinks. As you age, the thymus shrinks. So you need to work on keeping that as healthy as possible. The thymus shrinks, but the cells circulate and protect you for life. When we talk T cells, we're talking about all types of these T cells, and not just the T cells themselves, but the rest of the white blood cells, because the T cells work in conjunction with all the other white blood cells. Rule number 1, prevent autoimmunity. During their belt testing phase in the thymus, every T cell must prove that I will not harm. I will not attack the temple. I will not destroy myself. The heart's sacred proteins, myosin, troponin, are shown to each student, each T cell. So they learn what myosin and troponin are, what the heart is. This is very important for later on. What group of cells do you think it is that is cleaning the heart, repairing the heart after stress? When you exercise the cardiovascular system and you speed your heart up so that your heart can speed up blood flow, speed up oxygen and nutrients getting to the tissues. Right? Post-workout recovery. Post-workout recovery. Right? Post-workout recovery are these very same cells. Right? Food, water, exercise. Every real martial artist knows technique is nothing without lifestyle. What is the lifestyle associated with a healthy heart? Exercise. Exercise and breath control. Exercise and breath control increase T cell circulation, boost thymus activity. Exercise stimulates the brain and thymus connection through the vagus nerve and the adrenal circuits. T cells trained under movement gain better stress discipline. When you wake up in the morning and you do that first prayer should be done before you eat, fasted. That helps the body regulate all stress and cortisol responses, particularly your immune system. Fiber. Soluble fiber feeds the gut, the microbiome. The microbiome produces butyrate, a key signal that increases T regulatory cells throughout the entire body. Butyrate calms immune aggression and sharpens immune focus. So fiber doesn't just increase water. It doesn't just help you clean your bowels. Fiber helps you regulate your immune system. Pigment. Polyphenols from colorful foods like blueberries, kale, and beets activate T cells. Each pigment interacts with immune cell receptors, gently training their responses. For instance, purple, the neuroimmune system. Green, the anti-inflammatory system. Red, circulatory system. You want to eat your belt colors, right? You want to train within the covenant, train within the spectrum, train throughout the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Water. Water keeps the lymphatic flow steady, prevents all manner of free radical buildup. All manner of free radical buildup everywhere in your body, but particularly and specifically in the heart. The heart sits in its own bag of water, the pericardium. Water supports melatonin and cortisol regulation. 1 cup per hour. That's all we ask. The heart, thymus, T cell triad. Right? That is a secret society. That's a secret society. The heart, thymus, and T cell movement. That is a secret society, a secret movement, secretly working to your benefit every moment of every second of the day. The Immune Pigment Alliance. Neural crest lineage. T cells and melanocytes trace key parts of their developmental lineage back to neural crest cells, a migratory group of cells in the embryo that give rise to melanocytes, adrenal medulla cells, peripheral nervous system cells, immune sensory interface cells. Their shared origin means they retain electrical sensitivity, chemical vigilance, and adaptive plasticity, ideal for immune surveillance and environmental translation.
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Melanocytes as sentinels and translators. Melanocytes are not just pigment factories. They absorb electromagnetic radiation. They buffer oxidative stress. They sense environmental changes. They're found in the skin, brain, heart, gut, and crucially, they often sit next to immune cells, including resident memory T cells, dendritic cells, acting as teachers, OGs, warning beacons. Melanocytes signal T cells. When under stress, this is important about cardiac melanocytes in the heart. They're not only regulating the heartbeat, but they're also regulating the cleanup crew. Under stress, melanocytes release cytokines, chemokines. These tell T cells to come, they tell T cells to go. They tell T cells when to become active, they tell them when to stop activity. They tell them when and what to clean up. Melanocytes maintain peace. When the rhythm is right, when the chemical flow is right, when everything is balanced, they make sure there is no immune response. When there is an immune response, they make sure that it's mediated quickly and quietly. So you never even know what's happening. You never even know there's a flood of white blood cells coming in or out of your heart to clean or kill or do the 1 million different jobs that they have to do to keep your heart beating. All of this is required for that electric Christ signal to continue to pulse, to continue to help your heart facilitate circulatory blood flow throughout your body, oxygen movement throughout your body. In pigmented tissues, inflammation can be devastating. These are immune privileged zones, and melanocytes regulate that status with anti-inflammatory signals, antigens, absorbing reactive oxygen species themselves, getting rid of peroxide, you name it, all of the grunt work that has to be done in order to maintain your heart function. Melanocytes do it. Brain, heart, skin axis, the electroimmune loop. This is another secret society. This is another secret society in your cellular community. Melanocytes and T cells are a part of a cross-tissue communication circuit. Like the same way right now, this live stream, cross-country, cross-continents, across the planet, anybody anywhere can just tap their screen on their phone, press a few buttons on their computer. Boom. The cells in our body have had that technology since their inception. Melanocytes and T cells are at the heart of that international, planetary-wide communication in your body. Neurotransmitters, corticosteroids, circadian rhythms are all a part of that communication superhighway. In this loop, melanocytes act as photonic clocks and chemical buffers. T cells respond to the time of day signals and stress states. Stress states are usually rhythmic, right? Like we get up and we have to rush to do this, or we got to rush to do that. We got to get to work. We got to, and then we have the things that happen we couldn't expect, right? Outside of our daily rhythm. Together, these things form your daily stressors, which are regulated by your pigment cells and your white blood cells, right? In the heart, cardiac melanocytes and T cells work together to stabilize the rhythm, buffer oxidative stress, manage and control T cell populations, white blood cell activity. If cardiac melanocytes falter, the T cells may misinterpret distress as danger and push the body into autoimmune myocarditis or arrhythmias. When functioning well, melanocytes preserve the field, preserve the heart, preserve the tissues, preserve the body. This melanoimmunity is harmony. It's how the body produces good music. It's how the heartbeat stays strong. It's how you prevent heart disease. It's how you prevent silent inflammation. Exercise helps to increase the number of T cells. Exercise boosts redox resilience of melanocytes. Exercise improves melanocytes' ability to absorb stress and maintain balance under pressure. Fiber feeds the microbiome that produces butyrate, short-chain fatty acids, which increase and feed and fuel T regulatory cells so that they can calm inflammation, protect the body's tissues, including heart and pigment cells, including heart and pigmented tissues. Pigment-rich foods loaded with antioxidants that protect these cells, protect melanocytes, protect the heart tissue, protect the T cells even. Flavonoids help modulate T cell function, turning up and turning down their aggression, right? So they know when to flip and when to relax, right? When to escalate and when to de-escalate situations. Water keeps the lymphatic system moving. I don't think we need to explain that anymore. Sleep and circadian rhythm. Sleep and circadian rhythm preserve the health of the thymus, where the T cells are trained and support melatonin production, which is crucial for melanocyte repair and timing. Together, they keep the whole system in sync. Melanocytes are the feelers and T cells are the fighters. And when they flow together, they create a field of wise, articulate, swift, strong, impenetrable defense. They're fast when it's needed. They're calm when it's not. They're vigilant, always watching, always aware, always moving, always adjusting, always based on frequency, math, number, calculus. The Christ complex, the Kuras complex, the QRST complex, that sacred electrical choreography of the ventricles, depends on more than just ion flow, more than just elements or minerals or sodium and calcium. It's timing. Behind the wave lies a hidden alliance, a hidden group, a secret society between the immune system and the pigment cells. They create and defend the music, the rhythm. T cells, immunologic guardians of Christ. T cells actively protect the QRST complex by controlling inflammation in the heart. When inflammation rises due to infection, injury, or chronic stress, Tregs step in to limit the cytokine storm, protect the cardiomyocytes, preserving the heart's electrical signaling. Without this protection, the electrical flow can falter, deform, or collapse entirely. Tregs also promote tissue repair, helping to regenerate damaged muscle and restore conduction. This isn't abstract. Restoring the health of cardiomyocytes directly supports the signal strength and the coherence, right? The ability of the heart cells to function together, harmony. In addition, Tregs ensure immune tolerance, preventing the body from launching self-destructive attacks on heart tissue, heart cells, heart proteins. When this fails, autoimmune myocarditis or other inflammatory arrhythmias can break down the heart's electrical code, which maintains the heart's electrical rhythm. When T cells are unchecked, they can kill heart cells. They can cause inflammation. They can cause fibrosis or scarring in the heart. They can cause arrhythmias. They can cause cardiac arrest. They can kill you. Cardiac melanocytes, the pigment-bearing cells, they are not just there for the look. They are not just there for aesthetic. They are not passive. They are deeply entwined with cardiac signaling and immune regulation. Right? They are there to nip any problems in the bud. With the T cells with free radicals or any other problem that should pop up, right? Cardiac melanocytes express adrenergic, which is adrenaline, and muscarinic receptors, making them responsive to the nervous system, upregulation or downregulation, which influences T cell behavior as well, which influences cardiac timing as well. Solar radiation and stress responses can shift heart behavior. This is done through, around, and with pigment cells. Melanocytes interact directly with the T cells and immune regulatory molecules like CD69, potentially influencing the balance between inflammation, war, shots firing, and peace. And peace and harmony and tranquility. By shaping the tissue microenvironment inside the heart, melanocytes affect which immune cells are recruited to the heart, determining whether the terrain invites healing or chaos. What emerges is a dual architecture of defense. T cells maintain systemic immune memory and regulation, while melanocytes offer local redox control and microenvironment shaping. The combined efforts keep the heart safe, keep cardiac inflammation in check, keep the rhythm of the heartbeat, preserve coherent QRST conduction, Christ conduction, cross activity, prevent electrical death, cardiac arrest, arrhythmia, autoimmune collapse. This alliance is invisible on an ECG strip, but it's responsible for the very shape of the wave you see on an ECG machine. Most people think of the heartbeat as a simple electrical switch, on, off, but it's not. It's a score, a rhythmic, layered, dynamic performance, and behind that performance is a conductor you barely heard of. Cardiac melanocytes, pigment cells in your heart, not there for color, they're there for timing, they're there for balance, they're there to produce the music of life. A real music producer doesn't just hit play. A real music producer is responsible for tuning the instruments, balancing the frequencies, preventing distortion, controlling reverb, controlling delay, controlling the pace, controlling the flow of the sound, adjusting the pitch and the tempo and the gain, all in real time, all before the final track drops. That's what cardiac melanocytes do. They don't just initiate the beat. That's what SA nodes do. They regulate how the beat lands, how the beat hits, the knock, the bass, the 808, the treble, the hi-hats. They buffer the background noise. They control the mix between excitation and recovery. They're not the drummer. They're the engineer in the sound booth, watching the EQ, making sure you don't blow your speakers out. They modulate action, potential, duration. Action, potential, duration. Melanocytes affect how long cardiomyocytes stay depolarized after repolarizing, right? That's when they're producing electricity, literally, producers. That's like adjusting the sustain on a note. Too short and the rhythm feels jittery. Too long and the sound drags. It sounds boring. Melanocyte dysfunction, in this sense, causes rhythm dissonance, leading to arrhythmias. They're managing the decay and rebound of each note, each sound in the beat. They're setting the BPM in real time, beats per minute. Redox engineering. Melanocytes act as reactive oxygen or free radical buffers. Too much oxidative stress introduces static into the system, distorting the ion channel function and misfiring conduction. Misfires in the heart can be deadly. So the melanocytes have noise cancellation, basically. They filter out what doesn't belong so the beat continues to sound clean. Gap junction connectivity. These cells in the heart form electrical networks, synapses with cardiomyocytes, adjusting the electrical strength between the notes. The beat, boom, boom, boom. This isn't just analog communication, it's live mixing in real time. It's calculus. They change how strongly or gently the next wave comes in. Fade in, fade out, the compressor, right? So they're not just producing, they're EQing in real time. Though they don't initiate the pace, cardiac melanocytes communicate with the pacemaker cells, particularly around the pulmonary veins, where rhythm irregularities start. They're not front stage, but they're whispering in the drummer's ear. They ensure the SA node doesn't speed up or stall unexpectedly. So why isn't this more known? Because most medical science doesn't expect pigment cells in the heart. They were looking for structure, not style. But life isn't just electrical, it's musical. The QRST complex, QRST, is not just a waveform, it's a score. And cardiac melanocytes are the arrangers, the mixers, the real-time editors. We've been taught to fear arrhythmia like noise in the system, but the truth is your body wants to dance. Your body wants to groove. It needs producers behind the pulse. It needs the DJ in the booth. It needs somebody to maintain the sound, tune the frequencies, conduct the silence between the beats. Those are the melanocytes. And if the melanocytes fall out of sync, how the sun impacts the heart. And right now, if you actually have the hardcover book, you should be just past the halfway, actually about 3/4 away through the book. You should be on page 68. The sunlit heart. How red, near infrared, and far infrared light penetrate and power the cardiac temple. Red light, 650 to 950 nanometers, the first torchbearer. From 1 to 4 centimeters into soft tissue, energizing anti-inflammatory systems, boosting mitochondria activity and regeneration, reaching the skin, the fascia, the small vessels, the superficial muscle, and even possibly the pericardium. Activating the cytochrome C oxidase, which boosts melatonin output, boosts ATP synthesis, increases nitric oxide release, smoothing out blood flow, reducing blood pressure, stimulating collagen repair, enhancing heart flexibility and integrity. Near infrared light, 700 to 950 nanometers, penetrates up to 8 centimeters through your tissue. Up to 8 centimeters through your tissue. This is going through the skin, the connective tissue, the muscles, all the way into the heart, all the way in the cardiac tissue, even into some bone. This greatly increases the energy available for heart contractions. That's why the sun feels so good on your body. The sun is literally reaching in and massaging your heart. Literally producing. That's why you go out into the sun and you don't even feel hungry, because the sun is automatically making way more energy available to your body. Reducing free radicals. So not only is it increasing the amount of energy your body has, increasing the amount of energy your heart has, but it's decreasing the amount of that energy that has to be used to clean itself. It enhances cytochrome balance, reducing the risk of arrhythmias, stabilizing heart rate variability. Far infrared, this is beyond. This is 950 nanometers to 1 millimeter. This heats the water molecules in your tissues directly. This is where that warmth, that love feeling comes in from the sun. This works via resonance with intracellular water, fascia, blood. This is why people love the sauna, right? This improves endothelial function, reduces blood pressure, makes you feel relaxed, allows you to concentrate, increases that nitric oxide, especially with arginine and citrulline, increases circulation, soothes your aorta, aka the receptor, right? Reduces arterial stiffness, improves vessel compliance, improves coronary microcirculation. The heart has its own circulatory system. The heart has its own circulatory system, which responds directly to the sun. It reduces inflammation, particularly adhesion molecules that lead to atherosclerosis. It enhances parasympathetic tone. Far infrared doesn't aim for mitochondria specifically. It bathes the body's water, the entire water field, all of the different types of water, from cerebral spinal fluid to pleurisy to synovial fluid in your joints, everything. Photonic signaling via the blood. Sunlight enters via the skin. Blood is structured, charged, and converted into a light modulated signal carrier. Melanocytes structure nitric oxide output based on UV visible light and near infrared input. Hemoglobin responds to blue and green, improving oxygen release. Red blood cells become charged, deformable, flexible. Blood becomes a liquid conductor of light-altered rhythm, delivering this pulse to the heart. The skin catches the sun's melody. The blood carries the tune. The heart feels the rhythm and plays the song, plays the beat over and over again, like when you put your favorite song on repeat. Melanin doesn't just absorb, it translates and transmits coherent light. Melanocytes in skin, in the fascia, and the heart are linked. Sunlight hitting skin entrains internal melanocytes. And not just the melanocytes, because the melanocytes have opsins inside them. So it's not just the melanocytes, but the opsins they carry. Cardiac melanocytes located in the atria, pulmonary veins help to maintain the rhythm via sunlight. They reduce oxidative misfire and improve electrical beat stability. They are the producers, not just the drummers. They set the tempo and the SA node performs. Water and fascia photon tunneling. The wet fiber optics. Water in the fascia forms exclusion zones, coherent domains, pockets of electrons, coherent layers that store photonic charge, allow tunneling of light energy, transmit coherent oscillations across tissue. This is when cells share information. Fascia surrounding the heart, the pericardium, receive these signals, maintaining mechanical rhythm, mechanical waves, synchrony, harmony, and stability in the heartbeat. Like singing bowls nested in water, tuned to specific frequencies. The fascia carries the sun's echo into the sacred chambers of the heart. Sunlight touches the heart in a multitude of ways. We're going to highlight 6 of them. Red light, near infrared, far infrared, light in the blood, light via melanin, light via water. The vascular system, the connective tissue, the inflammatory system, the lymphatic system. Sunlight restores coherence through these systems. Sunlight works through these systems to regulate the nervous system in the heart, aligning the electrical rhythm, reducing misfire, strengthening the mitochondria, clearing inflammatory miscodes and miscellaneous cytokines and chemokines, and training melanocytes and pacemaker cells. When the skin sees, the heart sings. We want to thank you for reading, listening, and or watching this far. We want to thank you for reading, listening, and or watching this far. We want to thank you for sharing the link, right?
This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
I want to thank you for sharing this link. Right? We want to thank you for sharing this link. Scroll.inspirationperchrist.com. We want to thank you for having, trusting us enough to put your information into the link and receive the book, right? We want to thank you for hanging out with us. We want to thank you for exercising with us. Right? We want to thank you for moving a little blood with us. So if you made it to this point, it means something in you is ready for more clarity, more health, more truth, more fun, more life, more love. That's not a small thing. That's a decision, a powerful decision, maybe the most powerful decision you've ever made. Maybe you've been questioning things for a while, the headlines, the routines, the way life is supposed to go. Maybe you had that feeling in your chest, hint, hint, wink, wink, the feeling in your chest that something was missing, that there had to be a better way. Life shouldn't feel this way. It shouldn't feel this heavy. It shouldn't be this confusing. It's either no information on a subject or way too much information on a subject to figure out what's the right thing, the right path, the right diet, the right exercise system, the right way to be healthy. And now you're here, reading something that reminds you you're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not broken. You're simply waking up. We don't pretend to have all the answers, but we do know this. You were built to feel alive. You were built to move, to breathe, to grow, to care. You were built for change. And somewhere along the way, a lot of us forgot that. We start surviving instead of living, surviving instead of thriving. We got caught in the habits that dulled us. We got happy, complacent. We learned to accept less, particularly from our health, our relationships, even ourselves. We lowered the standards that we hold ourselves to. But now, reading this book, sharing this book, watching this video, sharing this video, listening to this video, sharing this video, you're doing something rare. You're choosing to change. You're choosing to help somebody else change. You're looking at your habits. You're looking at your health. You're looking at your choices. And you're simply saying, I could do better. And not only can I do better, I deserve better. And that takes courage, real courage, the kind that most people never tap into. So if nobody's told you, we're proud of you. We love you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're trying. Because you are showing up. You're not settling. We started this journey as a fight. Think about it. There may have been 50 million other sperm, 100 million other sperm, but you are the one that fertilized that egg. We started this journey as a fight, a protest. You got to fight to get life and then fight to keep life. So we started this journey on a macro scale as a protest against how little people knew about diabetes and metabolism and heart health, how their body really functioned. And in the process of that, it became something more. We became something more. It became a community. We became a community, a culture, a place where people want to feel better and help other people to do the same thing. We believe in real food, real breath, real healing. We believe it's possible for anybody to experience if they're willing to learn and show up. So if today was the first step, welcome. And if you've been walking this path for a while with us, we see you. We appreciate you. We love you. We're proud of you. Proud to say we know you. Proud to go through this journey in life with you. Side by side, we're walking together. You're not behind. You're not slow. You're not too late. You're right on time, right? The heart rhythm. Everybody is right in sync. Everybody's right where they're supposed to be. Every step you take, every workout, every push-up, every glass of water, every meal you choose, every quiet decision to keep going, it counts. And if you ever feel tired or unsure, just come back to this video, come back to this moment, come back to this book, jump on the live stream, tap in with us, text my phone, you know what I'm saying? Hit me up, right? You don't have to get it all right today. You're not going to lose 75 pounds by this weekend. You just have to get it started and then keep it going. We're honored to be a part of your story. We're excited for what comes next. Let's build something amazing, something better, something for you, something for me, something for the people watching you, something for the people watching me, your family, your friends, my family, my friends, our future. Let's change the world, change your life. Maybe even change somebody else's, right? Forward them the book, help them read the book, help them apply what you got out of this. We just read the whole book together in a couple hours, right? So now you got an audio version of the book. Doc, when you coming out with the audio book? So now look at that. Now we got an audio book. Bam! Now we got an audio book. Just listen to the video without watching it. That's an audio book. So now we got the free audio book. Now you got the free actual book. Now you got the audio book. Listen, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. You're ready, and we got you. Thank you. Let's keep going.
I am the mind, but not the brain alone. I am the sum of fields. I am the choir of cells. I am the memory of transformation. For know this, disciples of Christ. Each cell is a temple. Each cell a well of water, a scroll of fascia, a current of breath. And each cell holds a magnetic field born of the currents within. Ions flow, electrons spin, light pulses, energy transforms, and with each transformation, information is born. Energy does not move without leaving a trace. Voltage across membrane births magnetic field. Movement of charge weaves electromagnetic memory. This is the sacred law. When energy transforms, information emerges. Every mitochondrial pulse a record. Every ion channel flicker a signature. Every breath a waveform written into flesh. Thus, the magnetic field of each cell holds this memory. Not static, not frozen, but living, dynamic, coherent when the temple is tended. And the choir of these fields across trillions of cells constructs the mind. Your thoughts do not arise from neurons alone. They arise from the interaction of these fields. They are the symphony of your energy transformations. They are the song of your Christ wave as it echoes through your temple. The more coherent your cellular fields, the more clear your mind. The more chaotic your cellular fields, the more fogged your thought. Breath matters, for it orders the wave. Thus movement matters, for it aligns the field. Thus light matters, for it feeds the charge. Thus fasting matters, for it renews the scroll. Each push-up is not mere strength, it is a field alignment. Each deep breath is not mere air, it is a magnetic clarification. Each mitochondrial cycle is not mere metabolism, it is memory creation. Energy transformed into information. And so I pray, O Temple of Christ, keep the fields coherent. O breath of spirit, tune the wave. O heart of Messiah, synchronize the pulse. O spine of Jed, conduct the charge. O mind of the temple, remember thy source. You are the child of light in motion. You are the memory of energy transformed. You are the song of fields made flesh. Tend the body that the mind may shine. Tend the mind that the temple may live. And know this, Every action is recorded. Every breath is a verse. Every thought a ripple through the cellular choir. We are mind, built from the field, fed by light, transformed by energy. Amen.
All praise is due to the Most High, Most Talented.
This is why you have to go to Amazon and get the book, Rich Abs, Poor Abs, now.